Oh, wait.
Movie. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, I don't usually start out being catty. I wait until I have a little more time.
When you went to live with your grandparents, what age were they? Do you remember when you were?
I've thought about that, and I'm not sure. I think they were probably in their 60s.
Okay. When you were 7, you and your sister went to live with
With Grandpa and Grandma.
yeah,
And
And
really,
the-
it wasn't
and
much of a shop then.
Grandpa and Grandma Harrison.
Mhm.
Right.
But Grandpa and Grandma Kramer lived in the same town.
Okay.
They were about 10 blocks.
But did it ever get so cold that people went inside?
Now we were probably the exception to the rule. I didn't know anybody else that slept
On the porch.
sleeping porch. But I don't remember ever sleeping inside.
Wow. What did you do for fun when you were a kid, living at your grandparents' house?
We could do anything we wanted in there.
I know, but what did you do?
Well, one of the most awful things I did, and I didn't realize it was so bad at the time. It was one of my birthdays, I think, I'm not sure. But we were having a party. Seemed like we were always having parties. And they had hardwood floors in their house. And we had this party and we danced. And the floors got too slick. And I thought, well, can't have that. And so I went and got some salt and I sprinkled salt over it. I don't think they ever recovered from that. The floors, I mean.
Was the music like on a record player, or was it? Yeah.
We had a Victrola.
Cool.
I spent hours and hours and hours playing that Victrola.
What kind of music did you listen to on it?
I liked, I liked today, the big band sound. But of
big
course,
band.
they didn't have big
Right,
bands.
they didn't have that back then.
But they had
Moving
bands.
towards that.
Now I loved band, but I'm talking about a real band, not a bunch of these get-together,
Right.
that aren't party music.
What kind of dancing did you all do?
Oh, I think they called it foxtrot. I think it
Foxtrot,
was
yeah.
Mostly kid stuff.
Coleman loves to dance.
Really.
He'll just start dancing in the middle of the airport.
Really.
Yep, like yesterday.
Grandpa Harrison was the one that had never gone to church as he was growing up. And grandmother was raised in a family that always went to church. They went to the Christian church. So when they got married, Grandpa went with Grandma. But he was a self-appointed greeter. On Sunday morning.
That sounds like you.
Yeah, on Sunday
And
morning.
Pop.
What was Grandpa's name?
Hugh.
Uh-huh.
And
So you're Hugh Jr.?
and
Well, not junior officially.
pretty near.
Yeah.
What were the Kramers like? I've never heard anything about them.
Well, Grandpa Kramer, he liked to play cards.
Was he a farmer before?
No, he was a banker. Before that, I don't know. They came from Pennsylvania. Grandpa Harrison came from Vermont. They had a father who was mean. And they lived in Vermont. And when the boys got old enough, and some of the girls too, they started coming to Kansas. Now, I can't tell you why they chose Kansas. The ones who came later came because some of the others had been here first. So some of the younger ones were the ones who came out and they got into the banking business in Downs.
Grandmother and grandfather lived in Russia. Actually, they were Volga Germans, and their family preceded them, lived in Germany, and then they migrated to Russia. And my grandmother was a peasant and she washed her clothes in the Volga River, and I skated on the Volga River.
Wow.
And really cool to listen to her talk about the soldiers' Bolshevik Revolution and prior to that. And my grandfather, on the other hand, came from a really influential family, and he was in mercantile and actually went to college there in Russia. And their marriage was arranged. My grandmother was really beautiful. They married and came over to the United States and had a huge family, very Catholic.
And where did they live
Very
in the United
Catholic.
States?
Well, gosh, they came over. They came through Ellis Island, and they settled in Hayes, and along with other family members, and then they migrated to Topeka. And
How did they happen to choose Topeka?
the railroad.
When did you buy the house over on Magnolia? It was the
In
same month.
96.
But what month? I think it was, or no,
Oh,
you
May.
bought it in 95, but
May.
you moved.
And we moved to the other place
Yeah.
in May. That's
Yeah,
right.
so it was exactly 50 years you lived at the LeBrand's Bridge Farm.
That's right.
In the boxes, one, Catherine's wedding dress,
Wow.
and her veil, and it's here, so
Really?
take a look. It's just
Wow.
beautiful.
Does that feel right?
Now, I'll not do a dance for you.
She's very elderly and lives in Wichita and is not in good health.
And is she like a cousin of Grandpa?
Mhm. You mean Mary Lou? Mary Lou was not elderly.
She is elderly.
Oh,
She's in her
younger than
80s.
your dad would be.
She's in her 80s.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
let's don't call it elderly
But that's
anymore,
not,
okay?
that's not elderly.
No. With you,
For
Catherine.
heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
That's
I like
when
the
I was
short
14 years
ruffles.
old. Jeff Stewart, right?
Yeah, just.
Yep.
It is so amazing to me that one of my grandsons or grandchildren or grand whatever could do something like that. I never could do anything artistic. I can play the piano, but I can't do that. The meter reader was around doing his duties, and it was still kind of early in the morning, and grandmother was still in bed. Grandfather had gotten up and gone out to do the chores. He met the reader out in the backyard as he was coming up to the house, and he said, "Just go on in, nobody else is up yet." So, to get to the meter, he came in the kitchen and had to go into the bathroom and up to a little room up on the second floor, and that's where he read the meter. So, he proceeded to come along and got to the door, and grandmother heard somebody. She didn't say anything. She could hear him coming in. She thought it was grandfather. And the man opened the door, and she was sitting there. And she says, "Happy New Year."
She was sitting on the toilet.
And I don't know what he said.
Well, one time I came to your school and I was up in front of the class and you stood up beside me and you said, "This is my mom and her coat is from the Goodwill."
I remember Grandpa told me a funny story that he didn't mean to be funny. He was telling me about World War II, and so I was asking him all kinds of questions. So, exactly what did you do to serve America in World War II? And he said, "I put needles in mules' bottoms." Great Grandma, what was your favorite game to play?
The one I could win at. We turned on the Victrola, and I love to dance to it, or as I say, show off. And I do that when I was there by myself in the daytime. That was one of the ways that I enjoyed playing.
Well, Amanda would sing like crazy, and she would any music, and she would play it over and over and over, and she would sing it until she had it just like the way the recording artist did. Well, Todd was the very good impersonator when he was playing his cello. His teacher would play something, and then Todd would play it back, and he would get a little criticism, and he'd have him play it again, and he could play it so that it sounded just like the teacher. And it was, thrilling, to be a parent sitting in another room, and you weren't sure sometimes, was that the teacher or was that Todd? And it was really cool. And once in a while the teacher would come in and he'd have a big smile and a nod like this on his, and God, it just
Boy,
made me
that's
just
thrilling.
kind of sore.